Okay, we're now live. Joe, your magic. Wow, that was exciting. Last week it was kind of just over us, and we were in the background, but this time it was the whole screen.
Yeah, I worked on it, so
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure the Friday Nooner intro was particularly special and
Right.
getting better. So,
Well, yeah, you nailed it. But yes, welcome back, everyone, to the Friday Nooner. I'm Pete McIntyre, the managing editor of GrepBeat. With me, as always, because he owns a building, is the Godfather, Joe Colby, and we're gonna talk about attacking the triangle, etc. Use some recent news items as jumping off points to talk about whatever.
there we go.
And one thing, Jonah, we talked about last night, but in yesterday's newsletter, and I'm sure you all subscribe to the GrepBeat newsletter, we mentioned two local startups, one Boostopia and one Nanovest, that are each going to be in to sort of the bigger accelerators, national accelerators. One is going to be in one of the Techstars in Boston, Nanovest, and then Boostopia in the Launch Accelerator, which is part of Jason Calacanis. It's kind of a entrepreneur / angel investor / startup guru. That's part of his thing. And these are both in the category of they do make an investment and they take equity. Usually industry standards is like 6% for 100 to 125. So that's not.
So what is that? How is that in terms of 6% of?
It's like if like 100 would be like 1.67 million valuation, and 125 is like a little over 2. So
did you do that in your head?
No, I did the math earlier. I didn't. Yes, I did it in my head.
I just did the math
right now.
Well, 6 is
right,
there.
Right. So I was right.
Well,
1.67.
Or you remember from earlier.
I did the math like 20 minutes ago, and I wrote it down on a sheet of paper.
Wow, that proved it.
And then I pretended to just do it off the top of my head, because that's showmanship.
Yes. Yeah. Well, when you print out and you write down everything and then print it out, that also.
Yes, and it's also wasting a lot of trees. But
that's a tone.
Kind of a tactile, 2 dimensions. Nevertheless, yeah. So it's not, it's not a great valuation. They would argue that they're doing it to literally give them an incentive to go to bat for you then and afterwards. But at any rate, it just sort of brought up the general question of accelerators, and we can talk a little about defining them, but the pros and cons of startups doing them. Are they a good idea? When might they be a good idea, for what kinds of startups, and when maybe not as much? One way we should define, when we talk about Startup 101, when I do with the interns, it's like, what's an accelerator or an incubator? It's like, well, people kind of call a lot of things
incubators are done. We don't do incubators.
We don't call them.
We now do accelerators because it sounds better.
And I think we have some local ones, Riot, Launch Chapel Hill. And they're not taking equity, and they aren't as big. And they're sort of the bigger national ones. Y Combinator, one of the most famous Techstars. So there's sort of different categories. But what do you think on the ones that are these kind of bigger ones where they are taking equity? They're hard to get into. Did you guys consider that at Pronto?
So no. So there's a lot there.
There's a lot.
In general, most incubators / accelerators do take equity. I think the ones that don't locally are, one could argue, a little bit more real estate plus some help perspective. And so, but most accelerate, or there's some other corporate sponsor.
Right. And you
But
don't
in
need
most
to-
cases, yeah, in most cases, they do take equity. I think it's a little bit, I'm going to use the word dangerous, first world
Right,
dangerous,
yeah.
right? To think too much about pre-money calculations with those kind of things, because at the end of the day, it's not a lot of money for very early, typically very early stage companies. So you really want to look at more from an absolute amount, more than you do anything else. And I think
absolute equity amount, or the
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not like they're taking 50% of your company.
Right.
Like, it's just a little bit. And so I think there's a good and bad side about it. I think they can be really good in the sense of you go to a certain group, you have some wisdoms there, other like companies, you could share resources. And I think Y Combinator in particular has been great at that. They seem to do well in like the Airbnb, sort of pseudo consumer type products. They know that market well. They connect with those people. The things that scale very quickly. They have a really good reputation. It's quite hard to get into. I think it kind of drops off, quite honestly, pretty quickly since beyond them. I also think that it really depends.
Techstars, I guess, would be the other.
Yeah, but they're not
more of a
But
brand.
Techstars, I mean, I like
There's a lot more of them.
I know Chris Hively, locally, he represents them and working with ecosystems, but there's a lot more of them. So that's a little bit more accessible to more companies. So I think you really have to ask, like, why are you doing it? If you're going because you can get some unique expertise there, because they have this network, they're going to help you, and you believe that's legitimate, that's great. If you go because you feel it's some type of validation, or that a lot of times people become accelerator junkies. They're like, oh, I did that accelerator and that accelerator and that incubator. It's actually it gives you false validation, because those things are very much pitched to raising money and you get the stamp, but you start thinking that the success is getting into these accelerators, when really that's not what it's about at all.
Right.
It's much more about, no, but I think that gets very confused when you're in like the startup culture. You start thinking that the end is getting the right angel money and getting the right incubator and accelerator and all these things, as if you're building a resume, where really the goal is to drive revenue and build an organization. And it's very important, I think, as a startup founder, to keep their head on right, to realize what are they trying to accomplish. The goal is not to get into an accelerator incubator and that leads to success. The goal is to drive a great business. And if you think that incubator accelerator can really help you do that in a very tangible way, awesome. If not, you're wasting your time. And worst case, and this is for those of you who've been graduate students out there, it's kind of like going and getting that liberal arts graduate degree because you don't know what else to do with your life, and it sounds good at like Thanksgiving with your parents and stuff like that. So that is obviously kind of harsh, and I like liberal arts, right? So, but it risks being that, right? Are you just getting stamps, or are you really playing? And I think
we have sort of
the right reasons,
educational and mentoring aspect, but you also have, just like grad school, or depending on the school, the contacts, and in this case, getting in front of investors. I think if you're a company that needs to raise a lot of money, particularly these bigger ones, these demo days can be legit, and they can get you in, some, and I think as consumer-facing ones,
consumer ones work best, in my opinion, because that is a skill set we don't really do well around here in the Triangle.
Right.
We do well with B2B, we do well with R&D, but things that are a little bit more media driven.
You need publicity.
That's not really us, right? And so, but you also want to get in the right one. And I think you really need to know why you're doing it, because it has risk of keeping you focused on the wrong things. And so, so I mean, like all things, it's kind of like having a fancy undergraduate degree. You can go and think that's the end all be all, or you can go, it's a vehicle for other things, right? So, I
think a Williams degree is, in fact, the end all be all.
Well, I
But
imagine you went there for the sports. I imagine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
is that the-
we are a great.
Who's that guy?
powerhouse.
Who's that guy in Miami now?
Duncan Robinson.
Yes, he has his own podcast now. Apparently, I
He
just
does,
read about
yes.
that in the Wall Street Journal. So
Yeah, you saw that. See, we're huge now.
you're making it happen.
So I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, but there's an all sports award given to all divisions. So that Division 3, so you get points for all of your sports, and we have won 21 out of the 23 years it's been awarded. So we're a Division 3 powerhouse.
Yeah. A lot of people would talk about Williams as Division 3 powerhouse. Just throw that around.
It's just a fact. It's been objective. I would say though, also on the accelerators, the ones that are industry specific, that can be a help. So like this MetLife one in Cary.
Yes.
And so the Techstars runs it for them. So you can call it a Techstars, but the startup I worked on, Disney had one that, we were in sort of the entertainment space. We did not get in, but that's the kind of, if you can get in front of someone who might be a great partner, and they also use those as, almost incubated for them. Maybe there's ones where they can buy them down the road, because they know them. So I think it can be, if it's something that's particularly helpful for your industry.
Yeah, no, locally we had kind of a number of years ago, we had the Triangle Startup Factory, also kind of run by Chris Hively, and who went on to Techstars fame. And at the time, those things are really tough, right? People say, oh, these companies go through, but nothing ever happens to them because they're very, very early stage. But two interesting things happen. One of them, the hit ratio is low, but Archive Social did go through there, and they were ultimately successful many years later. So it's just a long span of time to build some of these companies. And the second thing is, if you look at the profile of the startups, many of them went away. But if you look at the profile of the founders, it actually was very productive for their careers, whether they started something else or whether they climbed up the ladder in some fancy tech company. So I wouldn't, you really got to look at you got to have a long horizon when putting those things together. And it's cool. I mean, I think it's become a very trendy thing to start accelerator and incubator. We might be even over a little bit of jump the shark on that. But I think there's room for more of that in the Triangle, particularly if it's a little bit more focused. And I think there are good ways to do it, and there are like okay ways to do it.
Right. But in that, you mentioned, founders kind of go on to things. If there's some of these, Y Combinator, I guess, maybe the gold standard on this, but the relationships you make with your peers, in that cohort and past cohorts, and just getting in front of investors, and even if it doesn't work out for them, they may be like, hey, that person's sharp. This wasn't a fit. And then a couple years later, you come back with another startup like, oh, okay, this is more up our
Or even it's a great person to hire as a product manager or bring your organization, which is, it's just about aggregation. So I think as long as you're doing it for the right reasons, it's good. Make sure you're getting some genuine value. But you want to make sure it's just not a vanity thing, because that definitely happens to a lot of startups. They just tack on these things at the end of the day.
Yeah. I just saw one and mentioned that they'd been in Techstars and they were in this. And then, like you said, sometimes it becomes an end. We're checking off some.
Yeah. You got to be careful about that.
Right. So I think if you're early in the education element and maybe even like you need sort of a big pivot, or you're kind of have an idea, but it's not as fleshed out, where the educational side and the mentoring side can really help. And I think beyond that, if you're a little further along, if you are very strategic, and this can help us reboot in some ways, or like, we've got some traction. So when we get in for a big demo day, now we're going to have a good story and can really knock it out of the park. Or if it's one of these that's with an industry partner that is especially interesting to you. But yeah, you don't want to be like, oh, we're already up and running, but let's do a Techstars now. Like, they seem fun. And like, it doesn't matter which city, they're all kind of the same. and then they're
Yeah.
probably not doing it for the right reason.
There's no secret formula. But that being said, I think we can use something else in the triangle. I think there are people that do benefit from some of that early stage coaching. I also think, it's very interesting if you look at Y Combinator versus some of the other ones. They're very successful now because they get the highest profile, like best startup ideas go there. So
Right.
it starts being, if they do a good job, starts being a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, because they can be like, oh, well,
Which is good.
Drew Houston of Dropbox was here from, I've even seen they like share the applications of some of the big stars and be like, hey, they were like you once.
Well, I mean, for a while, the criticism is like, hey, these companies, it's great, you have a profile, but none of them ever gone public. Well, now they started going public and they're pretty big. So, so now they're reaping the benefit of it, which is great, which meant they were doing something right. I think we could totally do that in the triangle. It's in the back of my head. So if there's any other people who are kind of thinking the same thing, definitely ping me. I think there's some ideas. But, we got.
I'm not the Dropbox guy. So is it Jason Houston, Justin Houston?
Drew
Houston.
Yeah.
Anyway, when he applied, he was a solo founder, and they actually don't let you be a solo founder, so they ended up pairing him with someone. But I did see his application, and among the questions they asked, or at least they asked them, was sort of how much, something effective, how much would you if you sold it today, like what would it take for you to sell today? He's like, well, I might take $1 million, because I haven't been working on it very long, and like that would be hard. So I guess it was better than
Well, they need big stories, right? And so
Airbnb is kind of the
and so it's kind of the VC model, right? They don't want people just with little lifestyle businesses. It's a kind of a tricky balance. But that being said, we'll see. Maybe we'll get some good things in the triangle. But I think there are good ones. I think there could be good incubators and not bad companies, but companies who go there for the wrong reasons and get nothing out of it. I think there's some great companies who never do it. I think there's some great companies who do it because they're kind of a little bit focused. I mean, I think that was true of Archive Social. I think they had a good sense of why with the Triangle Startup Factory. I think they used the little cash that they got not to pay off salaries, but just to kind of really focus on growing the business, putting every penny down. And I think that's the key, quite honestly. And people look at it wrong and they think of it in terms of something to do, validate them. They're not going to get as much out of it. So,
we also have here in the free money category grants from NC IDEA, especially. I mean, that is. I mentioned this to you before, but in the markets like in Chicago and in LA, I do not remember something that was that active giving out as many grants. I mean, they give a lot of money.
Oh yeah, they're not messing around. NC IDEA, I think, is great. I think what they do with their programming is great, but I think specifically that grant program, I know they have a few, but the one that's specifically 50K, I think they run it like a couple times a year. I think not only is the money nice, and it's just a straight up grant, which removes any reservation a founder might have. There's a bit of work you have to kind of go in to kind of get it. Yeah, but so you got to do reporting and whatever. But like, hey, that makes it's a great validator early stage when other people aren't validating you. I think for tech startups in the triangle, I think it used to be, easier for them to get. I think now, in a great way, I think NC IDEA has really more focused more on lifting the rest of the state and a wider range of businesses. And so I think that's great. But it's actually probably more difficult for a triangle startup to get that. But if you can get it, great. Definitely. I think it's a great stamp. I think we should have more things like that. I think that program should be mimicked in other states and other regions. And it's our version of it. And good. I think it's all good. I think a lot of people would speak, if you could tie a lot of companies back to that. Gives you a stamp when no one else will give you one. So
do you think we should make grants to people to comment during the Friday Nooner right now? Because it seems it's a little sparse today.
It is very sparse, and
that might be a micro grant. Can you do
I don't
10,000?
want
That's what NCIDA does.
Well, I don't want to blame it all on Jim Roberts, but he is the one who said that we're doing too much talking over each other. He told me that. So I've been very cautious and not talking, but maybe that's brought the entertainment value kind of down and interesting, or maybe it's broken.
Right. So just so we're clear, you feel the less you talk, the less entertainment value. So like the correlation between you talking and entertainment is almost lockstep.
I think it's the banter. I think it's the banter. Okay. It's the that
so you're saying 50-50.
Well, I think it's the speed.
Right. Okay.
Aaron, are we going to do this nice and respectful, nice little boxes, or are we going to do like Aaron Sorkin style, boom, 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 like in the West Wing? I'm not walking it. You can walk somewhere.
Well, if that's Aaron Sorkin.
Well, he was walking, talking, and snorting a little bit. That's kind of
that's right. But his trademark on air is the walk and talk.
We had some other big things this week. We had the inauguration. Yes. And I've got some visuals for that, actually.
Oh, okay.
You don't know about that.
You can show the visuals?
Well, first, let's talk about what were the highlights.
Uh-oh. Now, maybe we shouldn't have solicited comments, because then we get something fresh.
There we go. Robbie Allen kind of kicking it. I assume that was directed to you. No offense.
Okay, that was not my assumption.
Well, I think Robbie will notice that what hat I'm wearing today, and so I imagine he's gonna,
But does he like? He doesn't have a Grep shirt. Maybe we should. I have been. Well, he doesn't. I've been wearing an Infinia ML shirt as my sleep shirt the last week or so.
Okay, that's.
Well, I mean, that's not. Maybe that's kind of weird. But I've been wearing it regularly, is what I'm saying. Okay. Because it's a good, and I got it from Robbie, and it's not too thick. So
does he have a Start-O-Matic shirt? Does he do those shirts yet?
I don't know if he has a Start-O-Matic shirt.
Well, he doesn't have a Grep Beat shirt, so there might have to be a quick.
If only Robbie could let us know in some way whether he has a Start-O-Matic shirt. Or not.
He might already jumped off. But hey, you did say it is weird. It is weird. Good. The people speak because it is weird. Now he wants to sleep in a Grep Beat shirt. It's just getting weirder.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So before this gets
even the wrong door to open.
Yes, definitely.
Let's
talk about inauguration. So that was a big deal on Wednesday, and there was no big violence crisis that day, and obviously kind of a different.
It was like an armed camp around it, but
yeah. Well, I want to tell you, everyone, if you think of, I'm going to give you a little lead in, the fashion memes that kind of came out, or do you remember some of the things that kind of popped out?
Well, I mean, Bernie Sanders is taking over the internet.
All right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to share
I'm very online, as they say.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to show you some things that I kind of worked on a little bit today. Ready?
Okay.
So, I don't want to. Hold on, I got to open my system preferences and do this. I don't know. I got to unlock because I'm using an extra laptop here. And so, all right. Oh, I can't do it. It's going to make me.
See, this is what happens when you like the tech rehearsal.
Can you see?
Oh.
Yeah. Can you see my screen? Okay, hold on.
Yes.
All right.
So you really have
look at this. So look at that. I found a little web page where you can pose. Do you see it?
Yes.
Impose Bernie Sanders. That is in the middle of 21C. And then I did it near my house. And then I did it in my childhood home. And then I did it by the bull in Durham Bull. So, and then to make it even cooler, I'll click on the little link. You can go to this website, and I'll put it in the things. And basically, it lets you. I went through that kind of quickly.
So put Bernie in a place. Okay.
It lets you.
Just don't put Bernie in a corner. No one puts Bernie in a corner.
No one puts Bernie in. Yeah. It lets you put Bernie. You type in. Some college kid did it. And you type in an address anywhere. It gets the image from like Street View of Google Maps, imposes it, with Bernie Sanders wearing his mitten everywhere. So you can do wherever. You could do your house, you could do your work, you could do famous places. So I went through the pictures kind of quickly.
My favorite that I've seen so far are in the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, when the first one, when like Frodo is talking, they're all kind of sitting, so it's like Legolas, and then Bernie's there, like at Yalta, where they slide him in next to. That's a good one. And there's one that's Melania's dress that she wore the other day. They kind of zoom in, and some of the graphics when you're zoomed in are Bernie sitting. That's actually pretty fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that one.
So, all right, Jim is commenting on my hat, my light blue. I get criticized a lot for my attire because I tend to go down the blue route. So I obviously have blue jeans, which are, and then I actually have some of my obligatory, I can't stretch that much, Allbirds blue shoes. You can't really see them. I tend to wear a lot of blue. And so, but yes, so obviously a Carolina hat, but I really actually kind of like more of the dark blue as a color. So
is Duke playing UNC this weekend? I'm honestly not is that what are you saying, rivalry weekend?
I think that's what he's, I guess so. Yeah.
I'm not as on top. Well, I guess Robbie could tell us that. I kind of wait till March Madness.
It's interesting.
As much as I did as a younger.
Well, we could do a Grep B March Madness like we did last year. So of different stars. Although we might want to mix that up a little bit.
That wasn't no different. That was a trivia tournament.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
right.
You never really got that into.
So NC State.
NC State. It was for me to do the trivia tournament. It was a lot of work.
He's mentioning NC State.
Okay.
I don't know. NC State. I'm not a Wolfpack person. So it's out of my world. But if it were Williams versus Amherst, then I'm sure you would be well aware of that brutal rivalry. And I remember Amherst defected from Williams 250 years ago. Probably had some what year?
1821.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
They're the hated defectors of 1821.
Yes, I seem to forget that. Okay, so here we go. Robbie says UNC versus Duke, February 6th. So that's going to be in a couple of weeks. So something to look forward to. Okay, so what else? Anything else? Any other inauguration things or any other?
I was very impressed with Amanda Gorman, the young woman who did the spoken word poem. Yeah, she was great. That was very impressive.
I have not watched it online yet. I need to do
I think you should.
But I do have.
She went to college right outside Boston.
I do have.
She went to Harvard.
Did you?
2020.
Have you heard the Janet Yellen rap? Have you heard this?
No, I saw something in passing that there was such a thing. Do you have that?
I will have to. Yes, it is the funniest thing. It was on NPR, and
so when we say this is about Triangle Tech, we mean in a very loose sense.
Yeah. So here, let me see if I can tee it up, and then if you haven't seen this, I definitely suggest you look for it. No, that's not it. All right. Well, anyways, it was on Marketplace. I think if you Google it, you'll find it. Is done in the style of Hamilton, actually, and it's done by one of the folks who did, I guess, the Hamilton mixtape or extras, and so it is where it is. I don't know. See, I need to be more prepared. So, but it's worth. If anyone puts that in the chat, that'd be good.
Not me. I'm just for the record.
Well, I can put this in the chat.
Not that I'm particularly prepared, but though we should. I guess while we're here, the VC industry generally did line up behind Biden and private equity. They gave a lot of money. Sounded like, yes, they might pay more in taxes, but it sounded like the immigration was a big issue for them, particularly talent and getting more visas for tech talent what else was important?
Well, I guess a few things. So one, I think Robbie's jumping in, basically saying UNC versus NC State is not a rivalry. So
Right.
that will continue. And in the chat, I kind of put the URL,
here's the
which is actually hilarious. If you like Hamilton, it's actually really clever and well done. It's not terribly long either. In terms of it's kind of the good and bad of executive orders, right? So the executive branch president can make these orders. Everyone's done this. It's become very in vogue. Even since Obama, they make all these changes. Easy on, easy off. Yeah, that's the thing is, and then the next president come and wipe them off. So it's
supposed to legislate stickier.
Yeah, it's a mechanism, but it tends to be a mechanism that really only lasts the term of that president. So it's kind of how it rolls. Hey, so on that note, rolling, it is.
Yes. You have a new closing video, right?
Well, do you have any final thoughts? Because we've kind of rolled. We've seemed to. It picked up with the comments at the end, but it was a little slow going.
Right.
So
I think they might have thought you were going to make grants to the commenters, but I guess we didn't really. I was throwing that out there, but I guess that didn't. Yeah, they didn't need it.
No, it's not.
All right, so that's fine.
So what? Let's see, hide. I don't know how to do that. So any final thoughts? And now I can kind of wrap it up for the week. Any weekend thoughts, graces before we roll?
Are getting vaccinated tomorrow. That's kind of exciting.
Oh, really? My mom got the first one actually, so she's still. So that's it's a coming.
They had signed up on 3 different waiting lists, and this was the first one.
Okay, I'll leave you on this. You know what state is doing the best
West Virginia.
Rolling out? That's right. There we go. On that note, take me home. Hey, if I had Country Roads, I could play that, but I don't. I only have the Friday Nooner outro video.
Okay, so we're gonna play this, and then I'll click end broadcast.
Well, I think we should say our goodbye, and then I'll play.
Oh, okay. We have to say goodbye. We can't say goodbye after that. All right, that's fine. Goodbye. Everyone should subscribe to GrepBeat, the Tuesday, Thursday newsletter. We'll be back here on the Friday Nooner next Friday at noon Eastern time for our global viewers.
Okay. Until next week, we love to see your comments, any suggestions for how we can make it better. We'd love to hear it. And now let's play the video that I did by myself. I'm still working on it.